I'd go with the 4 C's. So great HR leaders, they absolutely have to have capability and competence in the HR disciplines, but that is only the starting point. And I think if I was picking 3 other qualities, I would go for confidence, I'd go for courage, and I would go for curiosity. Yeah, so the best HR leaders that we have seen, they work up and down a pyramid, and at the bottom of the pyramid is a focus on core HR processes like recruitment, like training. And at the next level of the pyramid, there's a focus on culture and people and delivering advantage through culture and people. And many HR leaders actually do work in these bottom 2 areas, and they're where most HR leaders spend the majority of their time. But the very best leaders, they go up 2 more levels on the pyramid. The first level up from those 2 is that they have a focus on how the organisation is delivering its strategy today and how well and able that organisation is to deliver its strategy today. And then right at the top of the pyramid is the question about shaping the future and how HR leaders looking at how the organisation needs to evolve to deliver for the future, how it needs to change, what transitions it needs to make. So the very best HR leaders, they move very effortlessly up and down that pyramid. I think what's important is that HR leaders do all 4 of those things. But of course, many of the core people processes like recruitment and training, and much of the work around employee engagement and looking at culture and satisfaction does take up a huge amount of time. So it isn't about making all the time equal, but it is about making sure that as well as looking at today, you're looking at tomorrow. And as well as looking at just the people issues, you're looking at the relationship between the business strategy and the plan and how the organisation is evolving and how fit and healthy it is. We run a programme, a 12-month programme looking at that next generation of HR leadership, and what we look at is building the capacity to be insightful. What we look at is how HR leaders can move up and down that pyramid, and using real examples rather than a theoretical model, using real examples of where people have done that and what it took to do it. We kind of create a very disruptive experience for them in a very positive way that gets them to step back from what they're currently doing and to look at how does what I'm currently doing serve for the long term versus just for today. Their commitment needs to be about the long-term sustainable performance of the organisation, that their commitment can't simply be about short-term or near-term performance, but it can't just be about one aspect of the HR agenda like employer branding or being a great place to work. It's got to look at the organisation, and it's got to make sure the organisation is fit and fit for the future. So the purpose has to be about long-term sustainable performance. You absolutely need HR specialists, and I think you'll find, what I think is good is to have people with HR experience moving out into other roles and people with other roles moving into HR. So I think that movement in and out is good for leaders at every level. It gives them a breadth of perspective. And by the way, often with business leaders, if you look at what some of the greatest needs for business leaders are, it often sits around their ability to lead their team. It's often around aspects of people management. So some time in HR can be very good for them. It's good for HR people to go outside the function as well and to understand the business from the other side. I don't think it means that there's not a need for deep HR specialism. Absolutely, in today's world there's more need than there's ever been. There's more complex issues around reward, OD, organisational development is quite a complex subject, so you definitely need those specialisms, but it is about having specialist knowledge, but also about having breadth. I think it's incredibly easy to get people excited. I mean, the variety that most HR jobs hold and the opportunity for the contribution that HR makes, I think is really exciting. You put it in a context like the Asian context, where the growth is amazing, where the focus is on finding the talent. The biggest limiter to growth in an Asian context is finding the talent to drive that growth. That gives HR a great platform. I think it's really easy to get people excited. As you would do with any discipline, you understand what it is you're trying to do and how it connects with what the business is trying to achieve, and then you measure yourself on how you're doing, and you stay curious and connected to what's going on in the outside world so you can understand. You do those things on a daily basis, I think you'll feel pretty motivated.